Have you ever needed help with something? And instead of asking for help, you've just decided to make your life significantly harder. You're struggling with a bag, a form, a problem at work, a piece of technology that has clearly developed an attitude. And someone says, "Do you need a hand?" And you say, No, I'm fine," while visibly not being fine. You're holding 3 things with one arm, balancing something under your chin, trying to open a door with your foot, but apparently asking for help is too much. So today's random thought is this: why do we find it so hard to ask for help? Because in theory, it should be simple. You need help, someone can help. You ask, problem solved. Lovely. But no. Instead, our brain turns it into a tiny personal crisis. The weird thing is, most of us are happy to help other people. If someone asks us for a favor, we usually don't think, "What an embarrassment." We think, "Yes, of course," or "No problem," or "Finally, I used for all this unnecessary knowledge I'd collected." But when it's our turn, completely different story. Suddenly, asking for help feels like admitting defeat. You could be trying to assemble flat-packed furniture with 7 spare screws left over. The shelf is leaning. The instructions are in 12 languages and none of them appear to be emotional support. Someone says, "Do you want me to have a look?" And you go, "No, I've got it." You have not got it. Nobody in that room believes you've got it. Even the shelf knows you've not got it. But still, you continue. Because asking for help feels strangely uncomfortable. It can happen with tiny things too. You're lost, but you don't want to ask for directions. You don't understand something, but you nod anyway. You're overwhelmed, but when somebody asks how you are, you say, "Yeah, all good," which is suspiciously often said by people who are not all good. And then there's technology. And that's a whole category on its own. You spend 40 minutes trying to fix something. You restart it. You update it, you threaten it quietly, you Google something so specific it feels like a confession. And still, you don't ask anyone. Because apparently, suffering alone feels more dignified. Which is ridiculous, but also somehow makes sense. I think one reason asking for help feels hard is that it can make us feel exposed. Even if the problem is small. You're not just saying, "Can you help me?" You feel like you're saying, "I don't know this. I can't do this. I'm not coping as well as I'd like people to think." And that can feel awkward. Because most of us like to appear reasonably in control. Not perfect, just generally functional. Like we know where we're going. Like we understand the form. Like we didn't just spend 10 minutes pushing the door that clearly says pull. So asking for help can feel like letting someone see behind the curtain. And behind the curtain is often just a tired person holding a charger and muttering, "Why won't this work?" There's also pride. Not dramatic pride. Not standing on a mountain pride. Just everyday pride. The small voice that says, "I should be able to manage this. I don't want to bother anyone. They're probably busy. I'll just figure it out by myself." And sometimes that's fine. Being independent is useful. It's good to try. It's good to learn. But sometimes we take it slightly too far. We don't ask for help because we don't want to be a burden. Even though when someone asks us for help, we rarely see them that way. That's the funny bit. We give other people much more kindness than we give ourselves. And when they need help, they're human. When we need help, we're apparently failing at existence. Seems fair? Very balanced. Maybe asking for help feels hard because it reminds us we are not as self-sufficient as we pretend to be. And honestly, that's probably not a bad thing because none of us really get through life alone. We all need help. Sometimes with big things, sometimes with tiny things. Sometimes just opening a jar that has clearly been sealed by someone with a grudge. And maybe asking for help is not a weakness. Maybe it is just being honest about the fact that we are human, tired, confused, busy, or currently losing the battle with a printer. There's no shame in that, mostly. So maybe the real question is not, why do we need help? It is, why do we act like needing help is strange? Because it isn't strange. It's normal. Very annoying sometimes, yes, but normal. So be honest. Do you find it easy to ask for help? Or are you the sort of person who will struggle for 40 minutes, say, "I'm fine" 3 times, and then finally accept help when the situation has become mildly dramatic. Please tell me I'm not the only one. No judgment, honestly. And as usual, let me have your thoughts in the comments.